الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وبعد فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم إن زلزلة الساعة شيء عظيم يوم ترونها تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بسكارى ولكن عذاب الله شديد صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسولنا البلاغ المبين ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Alhamdulillah, respected ulama ikram, respected fathers, mothers, honorable youth in Islam, I greet you with the greeting of peace, the greeting of Jannah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we thank and we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has afforded us all once again this opportunity to gather in His house. We make dua and we beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us live a life with Iman. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cause that our end will be with Iman. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala resurrect us on the day of Qiyamah with Iman. Special du'as for all the sick and ill people. I was just informed the likes of Muhammad Zain and his wife, and one of our other mothers in the area by the name of Auntie Shamima, who is currently not experiencing the best of health. We make dua and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them a speedy recovery. We make dua and we beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for them and likewise upon their families. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. For all the deceased, special du'as, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill the qubur with nur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to expand the qubur to where the eye can see. And for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the qubur to become one of the gardens of Jannah. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah, Jamaatul Muslimin. Once again, we find ourselves in a very confusing time. We see it happening throughout the world, subhanallah, as perhaps one is planning his vacation, coming the end of the year, he's tired, booking himself and his wife perhaps into a nice holiday resort. On the other side, we see the world is at war. We see our brethren, our brothers and our sisters, our children, subhanallah, down in Palestine, down in Gaza. And one should ask oneself, subhanallah, at times, before you take a sip of your drink or of your water, imagine, subhanallah, we have the luxury of sitting this side of the world. We have the luxury of reclining at times, sitting on our couches in our lounges with our entire families, having a big bash, subhanallah, having a big lunch, and enjoying one another's companies. Just to think about it, subhanallah, will bring a pain upon our hearts. So the request is never to forget them in our du'as. The request of the people of Gaza is not for us to take up arms. It's not for us to throw bombs this side of the world. The request of the people of Gaza is please inform the ummah not to forget us in dua. Because it is through dua that we are still running. It is because of their du'as. Hence the reason to why Allah's victory is on our side. Hence the reason to why, help is on our side from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is required upon every single one of us, namely Jamaatul Muslimin, to outline more for the youth, the very, very young ones, and for the senior citizens. Not saying none should, all of us must make dua, but more in particular, those non-mukallaf children and those senior members. There's a reason to why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'll testify and I'll clarify my statement, Jamaatul Muslimin. Back in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when in Madinatul Munawwara they experienced drought. What for days, for weeks, for months, absolute no rain. And we all know those who were there, and for those who weren't there, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take us all. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. But for those who were there, they will obviously understand the climate, the weather, what is the weather like within Medina. It is extremely very hot. So imagine if Medina itself is already hot, imagine going through an entire season of winter, going through the entire season of some absolute no rain. And this required that Rasulullah had to make Salatul Matar. You know, Salah, whereby we request for rain. So what happened? Rasulullah moved out of Masjid al-Nabawi, because this is part of the shurut, to go to an open field and to go and make Salah down there. Why? Requesting the help, requesting the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah went out of Masjid al-Nabawi. He came to a place, now currently they built a masjid in Madinah al-Munawwara. It's called Masjid al-Ghamama, the masjid of the crowns. But the point I want to make is, when Rasulullah got to Masjid al-Ghamama, he instructed all the senior citizens to move to the front. He instructed all the seniors to stand right in front. Now normally we know where's the seniors. We see them at the back, and I'm not referring to everyone sitting at the back as seniors. I don't like to see a senior. But normally we would find the seniors sitting at the back or being at the back. Rasulullah instructed all the seniors and all the Sibyan, the children, to move to the front. And Rasul says, bring your cattle as well. Bring your sheep, bring your goats, let everything be in front. Why? This will draw the mercy of Allah. The young and the old will draw the mercy of Allah. Why? The youngsters are still ma'soom. There's absolute no sins recorded on their names. Imagine they raise their hands. Imagine they raise their hands to have absolute no bad deeds or things are recorded in their names. Imagine they raise their hands and they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So hence the reason to why, imagine the Palestinians, the people of Gaza are requesting only for our du'as. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aid them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide and protect them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroy the enemy of Islam. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. So I know last week, Jamaatul Muslimin, I said that inshaAllah ta'ala that we are going to unpack the current events that is happening. And you know, through my research, and one can only over and over just bring and refresh one's shahada when reading through the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One can only but say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One can only but read one shahada over and over. For indeed our Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and you will understand after I will quote this hadith for you. Remember what era? That's known to us today as the Stone Age. No electricity, no power. Stone Age, no technology, no nothing. So for someone in that age to predict that the flying of airplanes, doesn't make sense. For the people of that time, for someone of that time to predict the shooting of guns and bullets and bombs, it's unimaginable. A person of that time to predict, I'm saying predict, it's not what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. Predict is what me and you do. Predict is what the normal sinners do. What Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did was, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains it in Surah Al-Najm, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Whatever he said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was not from his whims and his fancies and his designs. It came directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let me take you, Jamaatul Muslimin, through this hadith, which indicates to part of the minor signs of Qiyamah. And you'll come to understand why am I going over the minor signs before we come to the current events, insha'Allah ta'ala. Because remember, what is happening, as I said last week or in the week, whatever is happening is not by chance. It's not by coincidence. It's not because Hamas have crossed over. No. This is what the kuffar wants us to think. Whatever is happening because Allah has decreed it to happen. Whatever is happening because this is the perfect plan of Allah. So, a Sahabi by the name of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, very famous Sahabi. He died at the tender young age of 33 years old. But I swear by Allah, the hadith, the fiqh that he contributed towards this ummah, I think it will take myself and yourself another 3,000 years. And then even we won't come close to what the likes of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud did in a few years of 33 years. What he contributed to Islam. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, remember, we did his tariq already. Remember that one Sahabi when he climbed the tree and the others that stood there, that mocked him, that laughed. The other Sahaba stood around him and none were prepared to climb the tree and to pluck some dates for Rasulullah. He went up and all of them had a nice laugh. And at the very same time, Rasulullah happened to pass by. The Rasulullah asked him, why are you laughing? They says, oh Rasulullah, you know, look at the thin legs of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. You know, they were laughing at his calf because why? It's not by a din aangetreed, soos ons sal sê. Very surrender. And Nabi Muhammad said to them, if only but you knew, O my Sahaba, if one of the legs of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud coming the day of Qiyamah will be placed on the one side of the scale and Mount Uhud on the other side of the scale, the one leg of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud will outweigh Mount Uhud on the day of Qiyamah. So this is the likes of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he's a narrator. He says, once I was sitting in Masjid al-Nabawi. It was when? What time? Salatul Fajr. Rasulullah came in, we performed Salatul Fajr, and immediately after Salatul Fajr, Rasulullah ascended the mimbar. And this is something very strange for the Sahaba. But of course, everyone said, everyone wanted to listen, this must be something very important. Nabi Muhammad started by the very first sign of Qiyamah. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, he continued from Fajr time till Dhuhr. We break for Salah. After Dhuhr, he ascended the mimbar again. From Dhuhr to Asr, we performed Asr. He ascended the mimbar again. From Asr to Maghrib. After Maghrib, Rasulullah when he descended, and that was the end of it. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, he gave us all the signs of Qiyamah. Those of the Sahaba who could remember, they remembered. And those who forgot, they forgot. So, fast forward, now in the time of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Rasulullah happened to pass away. A Sahabi by the name of As-Sa'idi radiallahu anhu, he was on his quest, for searching knowledge. And he happened to come to this particular masjid, and he saw a person sitting in one of the corners of the masjid. And he went over to this person, and on his way he informed by someone else, who's this person sitting here? They said, that's Abu Abdul Rahman. This was a kunniyah of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, meaning the nickname. Abu Abdul Rahman, Ibn Abdul Rahman, that Rasulullah used to call him. Known to us as Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. So he says, oh, it's Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, alhamdulillah. I'm in search of knowledge of deen, so I might as well go to the university sitting here, Here's the teacher sitting. I might as well go to him. And he went up to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, whilst Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu was busy reclining. And he says to him, قلت يا رسول الله من ساعة من علامة تعرف به الساعة فقال نعم يا ابن مسعود إن للساعة أعلاما وإن للساعة أشراطا ألا وإن من أعلام الساعة وأشراطها أن يكون الولد غيظا. He says, as I went up and I asked him, can you tell me, is there perhaps knowledge that the global Muslim ummah must have to look out for the signs of Qiyamah? He said, when I asked Abdullah ibn Mas'ud this question, he went from reclining to sitting up straight. And he said to As-Sa'idi radiallahu anhu, O Sa'idi, You are reminding me now of a question that I personally asked Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he said, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to me, indeed there are clear signs. Number one. Now inshaAllah ta'ala, I would want the Jama'at to tune in. Tune in, listen, and translate in today's time. Rasulullah sallallahu said, أَيَّكُونَ الْوَلَدُ غَيْضًا. Listen to the sign. That the children will be born with anger. We will see youngsters, youth being angry. Subhanallah. Youth will be taken to institutions. We need to give him a calming tablet. We see young boys of 10 years old, 8 years old, 12 years old. You can't tell them, they have a mouthful to say. And naturally at times when you look at the youngster, you can just see the frown on his face, being angry. None knows why. You find a youngster not greeting a senior. The youngster having a problem with the senior, like looking for me. I don't like him. Why? I don't know. I just don't like him. أَن يَكُونَ الْوَلَدُ غَيْضًا وَأَن يَكُونَ الْمَطَرُ قَيْضًا. Nabi Muhammad says, sign number 2. Allahu Akbar. Sign number 2 is what the sama normally releases as water. Isn't it? When it rains. Times it pours. But the Rasul says, this time around it will be different. Allah would release from the sama acid. Acid, wherever it falls, it will burn. وَأَن يُفِيضَ الْأَشْرَارِ وَأَن يُفِيضَ الْأَشْرَارِ. And evil will be widely spread. Wickedness will be seen in every second person. We are not talking about those who are sitting in their comfortable seats. We are talking about the ordinary layman on the ground. We don't have to look far. Let us not try to use no. Let us not try to look overseas. Let us look within our midst. Now translated, when did Nabi Muhammad say this? In a time when evil was not so widely spread. In a time that no babies or children was born with anger. This only a Nabi could prophesy. No one else. يا ابن مسعود إن من أعلام الساعة وأشراطها أن يؤتمن الخائن وأن يخون الأمين. Oh, Ibn Mas'ud, such a time is to come that a person will entrust a treacherous person, a liar, a deceiver. A person will entrust the deceiver, and the trustworthy person will be taken as a disloyal, dishonest person. The man that will be speaking the truth will be labeled as a liar. And the treacherous liar will be taken as a truthful person. Do we see them? Now we are referring to those who have these pedestals this year. Now we're referring to those who are standing behind these things. Now we're referring to those who have, leadership positions. Whether you want to call it the political world, whether you want to call it the massaging, whether you want to call it what? The most treacherous will be taken to be the most ameen, trustworthy. And the ameen, the man actually telling the truth, you will be labeled as a liar. How often do we see it in our work environments? The man that's actually speaking the truth is only for home. The boss rather believes that munafiq, the one chasing the post. And then next to him say, and mind you, the one's name is Ismail, and the other one's name is Abdul Rahman. Ya Ibn Mas'ud, إن من أعلام الساعة وأشراطها أن تواصل الأطباق وأن تقاطع الأرحام. I said to myself when I read this, Allahu Akbar. Nabi Muhammad said that, oh Ibn Mas'ud, there will come a time that the dishes will communicate. Rasul said, the satellite dishes will communicate to such an extent, O Ibn Mas'ud, that family ties will be saved. Satellite dish. How's this even normal? How's this? It could and can only be a Nabi. Ibn Mas'ud, you will find, this ummah will find themselves in a time that the dishes will communicate internet to such an extent families won't have time for one another anymore. Should we tap into today, sir? Should we double check it? You don't have to. When you leave this masjid and you go home tonight while sitting on the dinner table, perhaps there's no more dinner table. Perhaps there's no more family eating together. But see what's happening. The one daughter is on this phone. The other one is on the other phone. The other one is sitting in front of the TV. The other one is sitting. We are in a company. No one is communicating with no one. We see it happening today. But imagine Nabi Muhammad used a direct word. Satellites. عجيب. يا ابن مسعود إن من أعلام الساعة وأشراطها أن يسود كل قبيلة منافقها وكل سوق فجارها. Or Ibn Mas'ud, the leaders will become the munafiqeen. Hypocrites will be the leaders. And who are they? يقولون بأفواههم ما ليس في قلوبهم وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا. The sign is very crystal clear. They say that which is not in their hearts. The current party that is ruling the Western Cape, pro-Israel. Yes, we don't have to shy away. We know about these things. Munafiqeen, today they will sing a song. Tomorrow they will be totally against it. Today they will pass certain laws. Tomorrow these laws are down in the drain. Whatever we see down happening in Palestine, in Gaza, I tell you what, Jamaatul Muslimin, it is only but a matter of time. It is going to hit every Muslim home. None will be excluded unless and until the Muslim himself becomes a munafiq. Allahumma hafadna, may Allah not make us to be of the munafiqeen. The Muslim himself will become too afraid to say, I'm a Muslim. I ask you the question, isn't it happening already? How are we when we enter their places? How are we when we enter our working environments? How do we all of a sudden change our names? How do we become shy and afraid? You know, just now they would stigmatize me that I am also one of those radical Muslims, as the West would say it. I'm too shy to say my name is Abdul Rahman. So I'll give them abbreviation of it. Money boy. Yeah. Can call me Money. Just to suit them. Imagine how quick we are to change. And this day, Jamaatul Muslimin, imagine, Allahu Akbar, this is clear, this is nifaq. This is hypocrisy to the highest. في قلوب مرض. You can see it clearly in their heart is a sickness. And what happens when we form or become of those who would want to change? to suit the kuffar, to kind of, synchronize, to kind of fit in the environment. We even see some of our Muslims sitting at their, messes that they have, having some, tequilas. We even find some of our Muslims also sitting there. And then what do we call up for what do we order for our beverages? Non-alcohol. Can you hand me a non-alcohol beer, please? The time it's on our doorstep. And I swear by Allah, Allah will differentiate between the believer and the non-believer. Allah will differentiate between the believer and the munafiq. يا ابن مسعود إن من أعلام الساعة وشراطها أن يسود كل قبيلة منافقها وكل سوق فجارها. يا ابن مسعود إن من أعلام الساعة وشراطها أن تخرف المحاريب وأن تخرب القلوب. Nabi Muhammad says civilizations. Ya ibn Mas'ud, oh Ibn Mas'ud, from the signs of Qiyamah will be that an entire civilization will be uprooted, utter destruction. Cities will be uprooted. The mu'minun, their hearts will be hardened. What we are currently seeing, genocide. Let's not translate it any other way. The believers, what's the believers doing? Those who are sitting on those pedestals, those who are sitting in their comfortable seats. If you look at the likes of Salman, King Salman of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, what is he doing? La ilaha, Allah must protect us. Allah must safeguard us. Imagine a statement came out for those who are going for Umrah. It will be illegal. You will pay a fine or you will serve jail time. For what? Just for wearing a Palestinian scarf. For what? Just for having a Palestinian flag. Who's this? Is this a Muslim? Where is it happening? That's happening in the base. But remember my opening statement was, this is the plan of Allah. And Allah don't make mistakes. I will come back to this issue, Jamaatul Muslimin. Listen to my statement. It's supposed to be like this. Now this won't make sense. But isn't it vice versa? This is a decree of Allah. We see him putting one side and he's still assisting Israel. He's now the Ashabul Arab. He's also a draadsitter. He don't know if he's worth or against. But he's still pumping in the secret. He's still having his own rules in his country. Don't come here with the Palestinian flag. And that clearly is a sign, it's enough of the Muslim Ummah globally that you are not with us. Your heart don't cry for our brothers and our sisters in Palestine. We'll take that statement that I just made and put it on the burner. We're coming towards Jamaatul Muslim. We're coming to why is he saying what he's saying and why am I saying that this is a plan of Allah. And it's playing out perfectly. يا ابن مسعود إن من أعلام الساعة وأشراطها أن يكون المؤمن في قبيلة أدلة من نقد أو ابن مسعود. The Ummah will find themselves in such a time that they will be humiliated. They will be frowned upon more than that of an ugly goat. Naqd. Rasulullah made an example, a parallel. He said, as people normally not want to come close to ugly goat, you want to walk away. This is how much disgrace will be on this ummah. Allahumma hafadna, may Allah protect us. This identification of being a Muslim, the wearing of a topi, of a kufiya, isn't it this? We find someone who says, Islam is in our heart. So many things in our heart. So many things in our heart. To such an extent, we are too shy even nowadays to say that we are Muslims. Very soon, all the athar, all the traces, the effects, the signs of a Muslim are already gone. The lengthening of the beard is out of the door. The looking like the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, like his Sahaba, is gone. The Sunnah is gone. This is a condition of the Ummah. The shaving of the beard and the lengthening of the moustache. Check it up yourself. Check it up. See who Sunnah is it. We saw these olden photos. Huh? I'm die krulle hier op die moustache. O, die krulle, die vulle square is wat. Huh? Nabi Muhammad says, Kastil lihya, lengthen your beards and shorten and trim your moustache. We are doing exactly opposite. And the West is saying, shave your beards. Till it out. Call a spade. Whether we like it or don't like it, whether it suits us or don't suit us, how much do you love the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How much are we ready to inculcate the Sunnah of Rasulullah in our lives? And by inculcating the Sunnah in our lives, I swear by Allah, it will just draw us closer to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. يا ابن مسعود إن من أعلام الساعة وأشراطها أن يكون المؤمن في قبيلة نذيلة بالنقد. يا ابن مسعود إن من أعلام الساعة وأشراطها أن يكتفي الرجال بالرجال والنساء بالنساء. Oh, Ibn Mas'ud, there will come a time upon my ummah that the men will seek attention by men. The men will go out for men. The men will have desire for men, and women for women. They have more rights than us. Oh, DA voters, they have more rights than us. The what? Rainbow? The rainbow. If you look at the rainbow, it brings calm and peace to our hearts. There's no calm. No peace. You need to hide yourself away. Leave alone your children. But this is what the West is propagating. This is what they are teaching us, our children in the schools. This is what they are showing us every single day on our phones and our TVs. Check it out, those movie lovers, those series followers. Just see how the script of the movies has even changed. They are introducing more gay themes. They are introducing more lesbianism. Where's our kids have cartoons? You can't even trust showing your child the Disney thingy anymore. Because God Ta'ala introduced it all down. That there is no problem. Should I pause here? How many Muslims haven't been caught in this trap? How many Muslims didn't fall in this trap? How many parents all of a sudden who frowned upon it at first, and now all of a sudden, guess what? This is sick. The one thing he told me, Maulana, perhaps this is the way Allah created. Allah created you. I said to her, auntie, all due respect. Allah don't make mistakes. And if you make that claim, it is you like saying, Allah made a mistake. Wal-iyadhu billah. Allah don't make mistakes. If it is your son is inclined towards another man, check him out, book him in somewhere. I can't even register him. Whatever medical condition, indeed, he has a medical condition. Book him in, book for her in. Because something is wrong. Because I can tell you the end result will not be a good end result. But Nabi Muhammad prophesied, he said, that you find yourself in such a time. Men will go for men. And this will be widely spread. Everyone, it will become a norm. And now, it's a norm. Some of us don't cut our hair anywhere else but by them. Some of us invite them to our homes. Whereby our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, every footstep of theirs is under the curse of Allah. Under the curse of Allah. Wherever they reside, the curse of Allah descends upon that place. But guess what? We are that nation, you know. Colored Muslims, Cape Townians, even more. You know, we are very lovable people. We invite anyone. It's what, even though if we know also Allah is not, but you know, inshallah can have a later and not now. She is here now. Subhanallah. And our children see it. We're introducing it to our children. And tomorrow we wonder, why is my daughter, why is my son doing what he or she is doing? It's because we as parents, we've shown them this. We are okay with it. يا ابن مسعود إن من أشراط الساعة ملك الصبيان. ملك الصبيان. Oh, Ibn Mas'ud, such a time is to dawn upon my ummah that the youth will become multi-millionaires. That wealth will reach the youth. What is that? That guy's name, that youngster's name? This is the inventor of Facebook. Zuckerberg. Before the age of 30, multi-billionaire. Who said this? Think it's in vain? You think it just happened? No. Our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, closer to Qiyamah, this dunya will spit out all its wealth and pearls and jewels and gold. Because that's nothing for Allah. You would find the youth will become wealthy. وَمُؤَامَرَةُ النِّسَاءِ وَمُؤَامَرَةُ النِّسَاءِ. And movements will be brought into existence to misguide our women. Now I'm standing here, perhaps not having all the knowledge, but I swear by Allah, I mean just mentioning all these signs of Qiyamah, guess what? It's like it's in front of us. It's staring at us. The moment you leave this masjid, you see it. Front runners all over the corporate world. The drivers of Loreno Buster, Golden Arrow Buster. Sien 'n groot vrou staan op die pad, kap. And what do they say? Just see, Jamaatul Muslim. You raise your voice to your wife. Sy het vir hulle gefoon oor die neighbor man. Wat music speel. Niemand het gekom. Jou motsie het net vir hulle gebel om te sê, Sali het nou net vir haar geskree en het gelyk soos hy sy hand wil lig. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un for Sali. And by no means am I saying it's right to raise your hand. It is haram. What I'm saying is, because of the movement. See on the TVs. See what they are showing our women. Become independent. Become independent. Don't become dependent on your husband. Why? And I'm not saying it's haram to become independent for the women. But all these ideas, they brought it into existence. Come away from all that teachings of your Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That the best place for a lady is nowhere else but the sanctity of a home. Come away from that. Send them out. Let's parade them on the roads. Let's send our daughters to the universities. And illa masha'Allah. I don't want to stand and be a painter. I don't want to stand and say it's all haram. But how many of our innocent daughters were exposed to all haram activities? How many of our daughters, when we sent them from our homes, were innocent? And when they came back, they even lost their virginities. Why? What's happening on the campus? Do you think they're putting tasbih? Do you think that the lecturer is going to speak to them about Allah, Allah consciousness? No, majority of these lecturers are all atheists. They are teaching our children. What I'm saying is, Jamaatul Muslimin, these movements for our women, and not only our daughters, our sisters, our wives, our mothers, we can see it. Nabi Muhammad said, adding to this point, such a time is to come upon my ummah, the women, kasiyat, ariyat, ma'ilat, mumilat. They will be dressed, but yet they will be naked. The husband is okay. Daddy is okay with her walking outside. Daddy himself can see everything of his own daughter. Daddy feels so proud walking with his wife next to him. Every single curve is showing of your wife. But he's so proud because she's mine. Everyone else is stretching a lust eye towards your wife. Everyone else is stretching an evil eye towards your daughter. Then you wonder at times, what is going wrong? And then we wonder at times, why am I sitting with all these khamos? The man that knocked on the door for my daughter, against her. The man that knocked on the door for my daughter, we wonder at times why. And these are all the movements, external movements, perhaps not in our homes. And guess what? None is excluded. None is excluded. Don't think because you are alim, you are maulana, you are sheikh, you are mufti, mashallah, your daughters. Oh, no. Everyone. In fact, at times, you see their children even being worse. But the activities of shaitan is continuing. Nabi Muhammad just kindly gave us all the signs. Beware of them. Take heed of it. Don't be blind, O Muhammad. Don't ignore it. When it stares you in the eye, know what it is. Don't say, inshallah, it will be different with me. I will do it differently. As like a perfect drug addict. Yes. I asked the youngsters in class. The thing that I can't understand is, how can a youngster that never ever used drugs and he sees what the end result of a drug addict is, how is it possible that he envies that? Got what I said? The end result at times is we see them scratching in the bins. I believe no youngster here in this masjid envies that. Staan miskien nie voor die masjid. Oh, see how they can win in that bin. It's not a thing to envy. It's not a thing to admire. But for Allah's sake, what makes him go from normal, not desiring that, to want to try it? You know what? Let me tell you. That very voice here at the back, just try. You won't be the same like him. You will have it under control. You will know how to manage it. This is the wiswas of shaitan. This is the trap of shaitan. He's reeling you in. Hy sê jy staar te sê. En die eerste skuif uit, dit op green. Eerste skuif, jy so uit, dan sê jy so, oh, this is not bad, man. Why is he scratching the bum? Hy sê die next level now, inshallah, you on your way. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. When you tell yourself, I have it under control with my mochi. Don't worry the way she walks. Nabi Muhammad says, Ma'ila, she will sway in a walk. All of a sudden, just see, the marketplaces, hence to why it's the worst of places. See, I mean, I don't have to say, we all experience it every single day. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide and protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us. Imagine the signs is not over yet. Imagine the end of this hadith is mind-boggling. Allahu Akbar. The end of this hadith is mind-boggling. And I tell you what, almost 50% of this ummah is currently living in this condition. The last sign of this hadith, that the narrator being Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, almost 50% of this ummah is living in that condition. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us. May Allah remove, the spectacles of the West from our eyes. May we see it for what it is. I swear by Allah. When these signs are staring at us, don't turn around, brother. Don't look this way and that way. When you bang seen, when you scam seen, be man enough and stand in your boots. Because we are believers in Allah. We are followers of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants the tawfiq and hidayah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. This is to announce with Jama'at Muslimin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, this Saturday, the 4th of November, our youth will be presenting the Quran and Dhikr and Qira'ah program at Masjid al-Wadud in Colorado Park, Bishop Street, inshallah ta'ala. The leaving time will be from Masjid al-Salihin at 12:15 p.m. inshallah ta'ala. And the program will be between Dhuhr and Asr. Please, inshallah ta'ala, there are still tickets available for our musical platter in lieu of our annual market day, inshallah ta'ala, which will be on the 30th of December 2023, inshallah, this year. So there is still tickets available. Mr. Qasim will be standing at the door with the tickets, inshallah. Cost of the ticket is 200 rand. As our masjid is in need of funds, subhanallah, there's so many things that still need to be done at our masjid. We begin to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide him to protect us, inshallah ta'ala. Yusuf was just showing me also the touch shop that is here, just to support the touch shop as well, inshallah ta'ala. So the tickets is here, inshallah ta'ala. Please, the brothers who want to take, inshallah, Mr. Qasim will be available, inshallah. Subhanallah, subhanallah.